Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy, what day is it? Thursday. Be good if I know what day it is, huh? Well, that's a good thing. though. It's Thursday. We're almost to Friday. Wow. Not that we realtors work weekends, but you know.
Morning, everyone.
Hi, Pawan. Welcome back. Nice to
Thank
see
you. Much needed pep talk what happened yesterday.
Thank you. I'm glad. We're going to keep
Yeah.
going on that, okay?
Sure.
Sorry, you guys are coming in, so bear with me. Thank you for being on time.
Barbara, did you went to family reunion?
No, I watched it I was supposed to go, but I ended up, once I recognized the date, I mean, I was all registered and everything. It's my dad's birthday this weekend. So we decided to have a party for him because the weather changed and we could do it outside. He turned 90.
Nice.
So-
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it was a last minute thing that we planned. And so I was able to get out of going and I watched it on video on the screen.
Right.
Happy
And
birthday to
honestly,
your brother, Barbara.
What?
Your dad, I mean.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Rana.
I know.
90 years old, huh?
Yeah, and he's really fully functioning. He's just a little frail now, but otherwise he's good. And the only reason he's frail is because he doesn't want to eat or drink. So I don't know, it's a tough call sometimes, but thank you for being here. Let's see, there's 19 of us. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's going to be a question I'll talk about as well. So I didn't put that on my notes, although I meant to. So Pawan, thank you for bringing up family reunion.
You're most welcome.
So a few more people, hang on. This is always fun. Come on. Okay. Okay, if you can be on the screen, I would appreciate it just because I love looking at your beautiful faces. It just brightens my day. I'm sure it brightens all of our days, right? To see others. Also, we all can see each other. No one has to wear a mask unless they feel comfortable doing so. So that's also nice. And so, we'll probably look at doing this in person coming up soon. Maybe when Bold's over, just so it won't be so confusing for everyone that's already driving to Tracy. But I definitely think it would be a nice thing to do since we can. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay. So let's see, couple things. Let's see, any new agents? Let me check really fast before I start in. I don't see anyone. If anyone is brand new and I have not introduced you, please raise your hand, but I do not see anyone at this point. So I'll continue. Just a reminder, tomorrow is the last day of boot camp day 3. Remember, we started a new format this month where we are doing 2-hour, basically 2 to 2.5 hour increments. And we broke it up a little bit. So hopefully, I hope that's worked for everyone. Just because you're not captured for 4 hours for 2 days in a row, I'm hoping this is helping you. So we're planning to do this in the future, at least another time, see how that goes. But so far, we have put it on the schedule to begin the next boot camp series. Friday, March 25th will be day 1 for the next boot camp series. Tomorrow, we continue at 10 a.m. to finish up day 3 of this series. So we definitely welcome anyone who would like to attend. I can send out the Zoom link and I forgot to do that last week, but I will just in case. Feel free to pop in. And tomorrow we will finish up the RPA and also focus on listings. So we will go over the listing agreement and, Renee will be the lead on that tomorrow. Renee Sains, our Tracy success coach. So you'll get to hear someone else and you'll learn from Renee. Let's see. Don't forget, we do have script practice immediately following today. And we have script practice tonight, Thursday at 5:30 on Zoom, and twilight session at 6 p.m. immediately following. You guys, feedback from our success coaches who give their time in the evenings to handle these classes. the attendance is waning. So if you would like us to continue, and I hope you do, it's an opportunity for you to continue to learn. And obviously I might be speaking to the choir because we really did it also for people who can't be here during the day. But try to participate. If you can't do script practice immediately following, jump in for a half hour this afternoon, 5:30 to 6. Jump in and listen to the 6 o'clock twilight session. I believe, Danny, it's you on deck tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct. And tonight we are going to be discussing about strategies for leads. And when you do get the leads, what is your follow-up system to keep those leads?
Very good. Good. Thank you, Danny. So see, you got a plug for what will be going on this evening. So if you don't have anything on your schedule, jump in. Danny would like to see your faces as well. She's taking time out of her evening with her family to be there on the screen, talking and sharing her knowledge with you all. So I hope people will participate. KW Prep. How many of you, we had that sent out, I think at the early beginning of February. How many of you have actually signed into KW Prep? Because I cannot monitor it. It's not set up that way at this point. Anybody signed in on that? Raise of a hand. None of you? Wow. Who saw the email?
No,
Nate did? Did you register at least, Nate?
Yeah, I did like a couple of the modules.
Okay. Okay. So our overachiever, who Mr. Arthur Martinez, registered as well, and he actually completed all the modules. Because one thing I did get was that congratulations, Arthur has finished the whole series. I was hoping he would be on here. He's not yet, so he could share with us. But he did finish. I'm getting feedback from someone. Here he is. He must have heard me. That was like an entrance, I guess. So I'm going to have him share a little bit with you on that, because I do encourage you to look at it. So what I understand is that I sent it out, or actually Sandy was kind enough to do it for me, because Sandy was helping those days, was kind enough to send it out to everyone. And I was then told after that, you only have 6 hours to sign up. So if you go to your email, you find you cannot sign in, please email me and I will do my best to get you on that system, because I think it would be worth your time and effort, and you can do it at your own pace. I thought I saw Arthur on here. Arthur, are you here? I thought he was just signing in.
He's here.
Oh, okay. Arthur, are you on the next screen? I can't even see him. In any case, I'll come back to that. Okay. So
What's that?
There you are. Arthur, you hearing me say your name, or your ears were ringing or whatever, because I was congratulating you and letting everyone know that you completed the KW Prep modules. So overachiever that you are, we're very proud of you. And I just wanted you to share really briefly what you found, how that experience was for you, if you thought it was a benefit, whatever you can share on that.
Absolutely. First and foremost, being a realtor and doing it the backwards way, I would think, because it's designed to be before you get licensed to help move you into it, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So now, knowing what I know now, K-Prep is a wonderful thing to be able to help get you in tune and in line with everything we preach for MREA and the one thing, because it's designed to help you understand about time blocking. It's designed to help you understand that we're here for resources, but you have to go do the work. Within each module that are about 4 to 5 minutes long, it gives you a worksheet that you have to fill out and work towards understanding what you'll be doing on a daily basis. One of the big things that I understood, but until Molly D'Amatos, I believe is her name, the instructor on there, she's very engaging, so that's also helpful. But the thing that she said recently was focus on the boring and learn what the daily life of a realtor is. And those 5 things are lead generation, lead follow-up, appointments, negotiating contracts, and then script practice. Because those 5 things are foundational, just like contacts are foundational within the command system. And if you don't understand those things, you won't have the confidence to speak to a client, to be able to set that appointment, to negotiate the contracts, to follow up and lead generate. So if you're not following the systems that we have set up by being in the PC class and participating, doing the K-Prep to keep you in line with what you need to do to set your own schedule, because this is our business. If you're not putting the time and effort into it, nobody else is going to do it for you. So K-Prep was informative. And now looking back on it and having done it where I am today, if I would have done it back then, I would be in a different place now because I would have done all of that work before I even got into setting myself up within Command. Part of that is getting your database in order. So once you are signed up and have the account, you can immediately put it into play versus doing it 3 months in. So I found it easily beneficial.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So one thing he said, is that, you know, if he had had it before, but and honestly, none of you had it before because it didn't exist, but you are all still in a good position, I believe, to go through those modules and maybe reset in some aspects of your business that maybe you haven't put into play. He talked about time blocking, lead gen, follow-up appointments, and all the things we say when we're in our meetings, but you know, this is coming from an instructor in a more formalized fashion, and you can do it on your own time. So I definitely, if you do not find it in your email, please email me. I will try to get you set in it so that you can take advantage of it at your own pace. 4 to 5 minutes, and then a little worksheet. I mean, come on. I think it's going to be a real benefit to everyone. And let's see who else. So Arthur, even you get a $10, and I know you love it because you are a former employee, $10 Starbucks card sent to you for doing that as the first person. So let's see who person number 2 is. Okay. So anyone email me and send that over, please. Okay. I'm going to make sure I see my chats. Go ahead.
I just signed in right now, and it still let me go into the.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. So give it a try. Maybe Jonathan, if you don't see it, I'll resend it, but I saw your email and I saw your chat. I've now saved the chats.
So for those of you that have the binder for PC class, those worksheets are perfect information to put into the binder because they keep you within the framework of what we teach or what Barbara is teaching in the PC class and everything we preach for our systems, business models to learn how to run a business.
Great. Thank you. That's a good thing. It came from Raina. I think I sent you it and myself, Raina, because you were one of the first people. So I believe it may have come from Sandy. Did it come from the Modesto Market Center email? Do you believe? Okay, so our Manteca, it probably came from the Manteca. You just put in Keller Williams. I don't know. What does the Manteca one say? Can someone look?
Manteca front desk.
Thank you. Manteca front desk. Put that in your search bar and you should be able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you don't, please email me. I will work on that hopefully this afternoon. I have a block of time for some of that. Okay. Then let's see. So Sandy, I wanted you to share some feedback. So last week I was just in my email, saw this email come across. I immediately shared it. And then I got an email from Sandy saying that she took advantage of this, used it as a reason to call a client or a contact. Can you share that, Sandy?
Are you referring to the, yeah, okay. Yeah, I received the email from Barbara and I thought, oh, it came from the CVAR originally, right? And so it was about first responders. And as you know, I'm an EMT, so I know a lot of first responders. And so I've been working with this one client, trying to push her a little bit more to, making a commitment to buying a home. And when I saw that email, the flyer, I sent it to her and I said, another way that Keller Williams is trying to save you money in buying a home, just pretty basic. She called me and she said, I'm ready. She goes, I may not have been one of the first 50 because, it took me 3 or 4 days, but I know that you're trying to save me money every way that you can. So I'm ready.
Good. So the reason I wanted her to share that is because that's just something I caught in my email. I chose to share with you. Maybe some of you got it as well, but maybe you all passed it up. So it does help to open those little emails because that's an opportunity for you to reach out to people you might have in your database or that you've met to offer them an opportunity to save some money. In that case, $1,000 if you're the first 50 to submit the application for your first time or for your buyer. In this case, they're the EMTs and the first responders. Sometimes it's open to general public, but in this case, that's the category. And you're touching base and you're offering something to them and they see value in that. And that makes you look like the person that they want to do business with, like it's happening in Sandy's case. So you guys read your emails. I know we get hundreds and hundreds of emails, but read the CVAR emails, read your office emails, read the ones from your success coaches, read the ones from me. Please, at least read those, because that could be something very important to you. And I wanted Sandy to share that because I was very happy to hear that it helped her. Last week we spoke about, I did a little tally and I said, how many of you have put some time and energy into your business? Because I've heard people say, oh, it's not working. I'm not getting any deals. I'm not, success hasn't occurred for me yet. And so I did this quick little tally and I asked a question of how many people have you reached out today? So I challenged you and I said, okay, next week I'm going to ask this question again. And I gave you a nugget, because what I've learned in my classes is that pick one thing, start small and build up, right? So I said, how many of you reached out to at least 5 people a day since we last spoke regarding the business of real estate and letting them know that you are there to help them or that you can help someone they know? I want to see a show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All of you that said that, please put your name in the chat and just say, I reached out to 5 for me, please. Those of you who did that will get a Starbucks card as well. And that's just this time. I'm not always going to do that, but I want to recognize you because you took me up on that challenge. And I want to recognize you for that. And honestly, $5 isn't going to cut it at Starbucks anymore because I was just there yesterday. So you are going to get a $6 Starbucks card because I don't have a big budget. But I do want you to enjoy a coffee on the PC program. And I want you to keep calling people this next week too. Maybe let's think about making it a 10 number, 2 digits. Okay. Keep building on calling people, because what does inactivity get you?
Nothing.
So activity is going to breed activity. So please start calling people, reaching out to them, texting them, talking to people in a Starbucks line, whatever works for you, do it. Okay. So that's coming. Please make sure you put that information in the chat box. I did want to go over, let's see, I told you about boot camp. I told you all that. We are going to have a speaker coming on very shortly, and she might actually be here because I see a name I don't recognize. So we will go into that in just a few minutes. But before that, I did put a house on the market today. So anyone want to advertise it, I want to make sure you know about it. Feel free to advertise it as your own listing. It is in the Stockton Market Center. There are open houses being held on it this weekend, and 4 of you volunteered to do that. I'm very happy to hear that. Danny, you have a question or a comment?
Nope. When you're done, I was just going to announce that I have a listing going on today also, and be doing open houses this weekend. And I really want to open it up to an all-day open house, because instead of just doing a couple hours, I think that a lot of you that want to shadow or host your own open house, this would be a great opportunity to kind of go in shifts. So then that way it's opened up to as many of you as possible. So yeah,
So
if you're
you
interested
but you have to be in the Modesto Manteca Market Center.
to host yourself, unless you are shadowing, then you can shadow. But in order to, there has to be a Manteca Modesto Market Center to host it. I will be there also myself sporadically throughout the day, so we'll work out a schedule. But I'm trying to facilitate as many of you as possible, because I know that by just saying, hey, we have one open house from 12 to 2, that's only 2 agents that can, benefit from that. So I'm trying to think of outside the box and trying to benefit as many as possible. So I can be very specific in the shifts and who can shadow and who can host. It's in Western Ranch and it's at 600,000 and it's a beautiful home. So yeah.
Okay. So I just want to clarify on that. So did you run that by Michele? Is that, it's okay as long as shadow means what then? They can or cannot talk to people?
They can talk to people, that just any leads go to the hosting agent. is how we've always done it. So the hosting agent would have to be a Manteca Modesto. But if there's an agent that just wants to shadow, those leads will go to the Manteca, to the hosting agent. But at least they get to be there. Because I know there's a few agents that have not even done any open houses that, it's just good to be in the environment and see the conversations that are being had.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that. So please reach out to Danny, or Danny, how do you want them to reach out to you?
I will go ahead and send out an email, and everybody who responds will try to make it work as much as possible. I'm just trying to figure out a way to try to get as many as exposure to you guys, because I know Manteca Modesto, we don't have as many opportunities. So I'm just trying to think of outside the box for you guys.
So
Thank
would it be
you,
okay? Can we advertise that one as well too? Or
Absolutely. You
Okay.
always have my blanket permission to advertise any and all of my listings.
Please put the address in the chat, Danny, and then go for it, you guys, please.
Yep.
Those are
Thank
two
you.
listings right there. You guys can be campaigning, doing whatever you want with. So I did put that out to the Stockton Market Center yesterday on mine, and Jonathan came up with a great idea, and I said, you're the first one to ask, so he got it. He's gonna, I believe, have a private open house tomorrow for the neighborhood. So you guys, again, thinking outside the box. I know we've mentioned this before, but Jonathan offered, so Jonathan got that one. But anytime I see these going forward, I'm gonna try do my best to let you know about them before they hit the general population of our market centers, because I want you all to have those opportunities like Danny does. Okay, because we want you guys to get into business. We want you to, and until you actually do it and touch it, you're not going to feel in the business. So what do you have to do? You have to get yourself out there. So Danny's offering that as well. So thank you. I believe we do already have our guest, Sue. You're here. And did you say, oh, Sue, there's two Sues. Okay. So I guess Older Public is here today to share their information with us. So I'm going to go ahead and let them take over. Do you want me to give you the host, or who wants to be the host?
Hi, Barbara. Nice to see everybody. Again, Sue Finch, Old Republic title. Yes, you know what? I'm waiting for a few other, actually the presenter, which will be Crystal Dixon.
Okay.
She's not on yet. So if you have a few more minutes for me, I would appreciate it, because I did tell them 11. Thank you so much.
No worries. Okay, so just maybe raise your hand or something, and then when they're there in case I miss it. So I did want to bring up another event that's happening today, and I almost missed it, but if anyone has time, today at 12:30, John King has a webinar. You can go to his site and register, and it's about, it's an appraisal Q&A panel. And I think that would be really great information for anyone to listen to, because, we're all in this challenge about, well, will it appraise? Will it not appraise? What can we do? So definitely look up John King in your emails. You should all be subscribed. If you're not, send me a note. I will send it out, or maybe someone can put his email in the chat and register. I'm going to do my best to be on that one as well, because that's going to be very helpful information for all of us. Okay. Let's see what else. So we did talk about open houses a little bit already, but does anyone have any tips or tricks they would like to share with the rest of us, that what they've been doing? Like Jonathan's going to go out on the night before. It just went on market today. He's going to go out the night before and actually invite the neighbors to come. So that's one tactic. Does anybody else have anything else they've been doing?
So I actually seen this from another agent. We kind of tag teamed. I did it first half. She came in the second half. She had the buyer packets as part of her giveaways, which I thought was kind of interesting. So people that don't have an agent representing them, she gives them that. She gives them a couple of other little giveaways. I thought that was a neat little idea. So
she just had the paperwork to hand out to them.
Yeah, she just had it stapled and ready to give them so that they.
I did that, Janice and Barbara. Yeah, I did prepare a buyer packet, and I've been at my last open house. I've been giving it to people like, especially first-time home buyers. I did it, and on command, I personalized it. and it's nice. It shows you like what's the steps of buying a home. So, and then I'll tell them, you know, if you have any question, take a look, and if you have any question, give me a call. I can explain the part that you're not familiar with. I kind of like explain a little bit about the steps if I have time, and then they will call me or email me or text me if they have any question. So I saw it somewhere, and I like it.
Is there a way for you to that you're capturing their information as well before handing them that piece of paper?
That's
I mean, when they sign in, yes. And then I put some notes after every open house. So because sometimes you don't remember. So I'll put some notes. Oh, this is, I hand them the buying the step-by-step of first-time home buyers. So I remember that I talked to them and I gave them the packet.
Great. Okay, good. Because I think that would be important as well. You want to capture their information, because otherwise they might just take it and leave it in their car for the next 6
Right?
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Email.
Yeah.
Then you can
Yeah.
capture the email.
Rana, are you able to share that? So maybe people have an idea of what you were able to build in Command, and, you know, because I think it's very valuable to give them information, but at the same time, capture their information. So you're not just giving them a card to walk away
It's
with,
not
right?
Yeah, it's
So,
not
yeah.
on the packet. It's not on the packet. Yeah, I know, I was muted. But like what I said, when they sign in, so I kind of, after the open house, I put some notes next to each walk-in. So I know, and especially the one I talk to them, but there is nothing on the packet that it will capture. I mean, you can do the landing page. And
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Maybe I can add that later on.
You're not
I
gonna
think
know.
what Danny is asking is if you have like a sample of what you put on your cover page. Is that what
Like
you're saying?
what you had built in Command, because I know like last week on Twilight was, and those of you that missed it, you missed it. We
Yeah.
had great program. We had a great
Wow.
class last week. And so
Okay.
Arthur had showed us how within 10, I tested him. He said, you could do this in 10 minutes. And I said, cool, it's 6:50, do it. And we did. And so we had built some really great newsletters, things like that, that flyers. It just was like boom, boom, boom. But I think what you have as far as like a simple buyer packet, if you're able to share that with people, so that way
Yeah.
they have an idea of what you're talking about. So you're not, because the whole key is to give people information, but only to give them so much, like a teaser, right?
Yeah.
So we can put the fish on the hook kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so if you're able to share that, they can tweak it and find out a way of how to capture their information and go, great, thanks for registering. Here's your packet. That would be really great. I like it myself. I would use that.
I think that's a great idea.
Danny,
And if you want to send it to me, I will send it out to everyone. And in fact, I've heard a couple times at last week's Twilight session that Arthur did on Command was terrific. So I will find that and actually send that link out to everyone as well. Okay.
it's on my YouTube page.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What's your YouTube page?
And
Share
I
it.
didn't even,
Then
so
we can
you
follow
wanna,
you.
I will, Arthur, you can put that YouTube page on there if you want. But
Sure.
I know from experience that most of these people like to be hand fed.
Yeah.
So I will send the link, and then you guys can go for future experiences to Arthur's YouTube page and take advantage. Okay. Because some things are on Michelle's YouTube page as well, but then we get, you know, I know how it is. We all know how it is. So I will send that out today. Do we have all our people now from Old Republic by any chance? Yep. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and you guys can be in
Woohoo.
charge now.
I love it. I love that. You know what? I have to say my presenter's having a little problem getting in, but we're working on it. Just give me a few more seconds here.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe while you're waiting for that, like, can you introduce the people you do have here? I think there's other people on, perhaps.
You know, I don't see everybody, but there's Susan Riller. She is the branch manager and senior account executive out of our Lodi branch.
Hi,
I think a lot-
everybody.
Hi.
I see some familiar faces.
Yep. Hi.
Hi, Audrey, Barbara. It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time.
And I recognize Jonathan. I've met with Jonathan before. So it's good to see everybody. What a great turnout.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
And then let's see, who else do we have? I see Mariani.
Oh, Sheila. Oh, good. Sheila Mariani is our account executive out of our Manteca office.
Oh, good.
Sheila?
Okay, good.
Are you out there? Show your face, girl.
She is here. I don't know if you can't see her, but I see her.
Okay, good.
Okay, she might be on the other screen. That could be why. We have two screens going right now. Is there
Okay.
anyone else? I feel like I
There's
saw one more name, Judy
Judy
Adams.
Adams and Rosie, they're both muted, but they're both on too.
Okay.
Good, good. So
Well,
Rosie Igniguis is our sales rep out of our Stockton office. And then Judy Adams is our sales rep out of our Tracy office.
Rosie
And I
Borgen,
cover-
Rosie Borgen, Sue.
More, whoops.
Hi, everybody. I'm Oregon from Lower Republic Title Company.
There she is. There she is. Yes, so, and I cover the Stockton area along with Rosie and Nicole. And Nicole is out today, but maybe incognito on this call, but she is not here. Do we have Crystal DJ on the call?
No, wait, I have two more people in the waiting room, so we might. Let's see. Someone by the name of Dixon, is that who we're looking
Yes.
for? Okay.
Yes, Crystal
She's
Dixon
coming-
is our.
she's signing in right now.
Perfect. Crystal Dixon is going to be our presenter today. She's our escrow officer out of our Stockton office. She's been with Old Republic for 9 years out of the Livermore office, joined us a little over a year ago, and it's been a great privilege to have her in our Stockton office. She's a great communicator, and she also is very proactive with the escrows. She's going to do a great job today. We're going to be presenting red flags today. And our red flags, we're hoping that you'll be able to provide you information on, you know, why we're asking what we're asking for as a title company when escrows are opened. A lot of specific escrows like a 1031 exchange, or if there's a death that's happened, even trust accounts. It's going to trigger some items that we're going to need. This class is going to help you know what to ask for in advance before you even open an escrow, what to look for. And so we hope that this class provides the information and success in your escrows.
Great, thank you.
Crystal, are you out there?
Hi, Sue, I am. Good morning. Good morning,
Yay,
everyone.
all right.
Good morning. Hi. So I'm not going to be able to share a video of myself while I'm sharing a screen.
No?
So it won't allow for our program that we have. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Crystal Dixon. As Sue said, I have been an escrow officer for since last year. There's a lot of things that I have, learned through this process, and I've been with the company for about 9 years now, and it's a great place to work, and it is a profession that my brain can, it keeps my brain active. It's really fun and it's enjoyable. So I'm going to share my screen. Are you guys able to see that?
We're not, so I believe you might need to be does she need to be a host at Arthur? Is Arthur still here?
No, you just need to open up the share permissions for all participants.
Okay.
Okay, share screen. It says, okay. Are you able to now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Trying to get there. Let's see.
Host disabled. Oh, it says that the host has disabled participant screen
No,
sharing.
I just added it.
Okay, let me try again. There it is.
There we go.
Okay. Share screen. Yes. Okay, great. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, we are.
All right, wonderful. So The first, so we're saying red flags, but it's not like a red flag that would deviate you from, moving forward with your transaction with a buyer or seller. It's just to say, hey, there are some things that you might need to be aware of, and things that you can have, the process done before we get into contract with a buyer. So this is in regards to the federal tax withholding. They say if the seller's not a U.S. citizen, if they're a foreign individual, that they may be subject to the withholding of 15% of the sales price. And item 3, I'll touch on, it says that they may be exempt if the sales price is under $300,000 and buyer will live in the residence. But those are some things that you will need, that the buyer and seller will have to, there are documents that they will have to process, that they will have to complete. And that can take a couple weeks to complete all of the necessary paperwork to do so. So that's something that could, prolong a close of escrow. So it's good to know if the seller is a foreign individual, so you can, as well as title, we can get that covered beforehand. They can apply for an individual taxpayer identification number. It can take a while. That can be done on the IRS website. And let's go to the next screen. So when it comes to California, if a seller cannot does not indicate that they are exempt from a withholding, that they might be subject to 3 1/3% of the sales price. If that was not their primary residence, or they had not lived there 2 of the last 5 years, then they would be more than likely be subject to that withholding. If they could claim a loss or a zero gain, they would be exempt from that. Usually an LLC or corporation, they're usually exempt as well from that tax withholding, and definitely a 1031 exchange. There are, what I would recommend, that if you know your seller might be, might not be exempt from this withholding, that they speak to their tax accountant to determine if in fact they are not exempt, or if there is a loss or zero gain, or if there would be an alternative withholding that they would need to select, other than the 3 1/3%. We are required to withhold that if our seller does, and also if a seller does not complete our 593, the tax withholding certificate completely and accurately, they would still be excuse me, sorry. They would still have to, we would still have to withhold. So they have to make sure that they are completing the forms correctly as well. So on to the exchange, a 1031 exchange. Usually these are with, sorry, I think a little right now. I just, if the seller has an investment property, they can do a 1031 exchange. So they are exempt from that withholding. They would exchange the property for this property for another property. But this is something that you should let your escrow officer know, so we can get in contact with that exchange company. We do have to provide them with some documents, and then we work with them we would work with them to get the exchange docs signed through our escrow process. Now, when it comes to any type of judgments or liens, This is something that would be shown on our preliminary title report. And liens can be anything from an IRS tax lien, franchise tax board, violations against a property for a city, whatever those would show. Our title officers would list that on our preliminary title report. So item number 2 is saying that if there are any liens, that if there is a foreclosure recorded, after that foreclosing DT, those liens that are recorded after that would be removed. Not removed specifically from the individual, but from the property. Now, when it comes to IRS tax liens and there's a foreclosure, the IRS has a 120-day right of redemption. And what that means is that the IRS can seize the property if they find value in the property. So they can take that over the bank. There are documents that are recorded for the foreclosure, and also a journal, or it's listed in a newspaper of these foreclosures, and the IRS monitors that so that they would know if the property was in foreclosure. And obviously, any types of liens or judgments, they must be cleared in a short sale. All liens, we would not allow a property to record if there is liens against a seller or against a property. So we can provide the buyer with a clear title if we are issuing title insurance. Okay, so in a bankruptcy, obviously we would need to know that information right away. It's best to reach out to your escrow officer, let them know, because if there's a bankruptcy, we would need to work with the bankruptcy courts, and they assign a specific person that usually will sign off on the documents, and sometimes they don't allow the seller to sign off on any of those documents. So we would need to work closely with that individual. If there is because California is a community property state, even if the spouse of a buyer or seller is in BK, then the court would need to know about that as well and would need to approve that. So that is something that we might not know specifically. So if you are aware of that, you would definitely need to let your escrow officer know that information. So for did I pass one? Sorry, one second. Trust, here we are. Okay, so when it comes to a trust, if your seller is the original trustee of a trust, then we do not need the full copy of the trust full copy of the trust. We would just prepare a certification of trust that we would provide to our title officer that they would sign off on. So that would just indicate that the trustee has the authority to sell the property on behalf of the trust. If there is a trustee that has been deceased, then we would need to prepare and record the necessary documentation. That would be an affidavit change of trustee. And as it states here in number 2, we do not need the original certification of death, but we would need to see a copy. So we would, and at that time, we would need a full copy of the trust if a trustee is deceased. When it comes to a power of attorney for a trust, usually 95% of trusts that we see, they do not state that a power of attorney can be used. So typically, the original trustees of the trust or a successor trustee would need to sign those documents. When it comes to the proceeds of a sale transaction, all proceeds and this is true for an individual as well, whomever the original owner of the property, the seller of the property is, that is how the proceeds will be dispersed. So if the sellers are in a trust, they will need to make sure that they have established a bank account in the name of their trust. So when we send the proceeds, the bank will accept them, because we've seen that happen where the seller gives us information for their individual account and the bank will reject it. So that's something that is beneficial to tell your sellers, so they know that they can be prepared and have that account set up if they have not done so already. And when it comes to probate can take a while. It is done through the courts. When a seller is deceased and they do not have, they've owned the property as an individual and not as a trust, then they will have to go through probate. Even if there has been a will established, that will not hold up when you're selling a property. So then the executor of the estate will need to obtain the letters or court order so that it assigns that executor. So we know who the seller of the property will be, and we can handle that through our escrow with recording those letters to go along with our recorded documents. Yes, so it's saying if the seller shown on title is deceased, then to let us know as soon as possible, so we can handle anything up front hopefully before a buyer is in contract, so we can alleviate any issues that might come up to prolong our escrow. This is deposit. So personal checks would need to be drawn on a California bank. Our deposits, we do not accept an ACH deposit. So sometimes when buyers are doing an online banking transaction, they might have the option to do an ACH or a wire, and they might not know the difference. An ACH is kind of like just a transfer. So when they send the funds through this ACH deposit, our bank doesn't know what to do with the funds because they don't have the full instructions. So then it will be rejected by our bank, and it could take a few days for the buyer to receive those funds. And especially when it comes to closing funds, it can stop an escrow from recording. So it can prolong if that does happen. So if you have a buyer, it's beneficial to let them know that we only accept a wire transfer for funds as well as a cashier's check. So so that was deposit, sorry. So closing funds. We do not accept personal checks for close of escrow because they can be returned. We only accept wire transfers or a cashier's check. If the buyer provides us with a cashier's check, we will not be able to close escrow until the following day. We need at least 24 hours before we can close escrow if a cashier's check is deposited. And also closing funds that are deposited directly into an account of Old Republic Title, they would be subject to verification. So that could also delay our closing as well. So I always like to let our clients know that we would prefer a wire transfer. It's usually the fastest, the easiest, and it doesn't delay an escrow if received on time. Escrow numbers need to be referenced on incoming wires. Sometimes we don't always know the amount of the transactions coming through. So if there's not an escrow number associated with that wire transfer, sometimes it's hard for us to locate that. Okay, So this is the conclusion of our presentation. And I will open it up to any questions anyone has. Let me do this here. Start video. It's not starting. Okay. I don't know, the camera's not, sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to work. Okay, so the program's not allowing me to share my camera, to turn on my camera. So does anybody have any questions for me?
Crystal, I do. This is Sheila. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Hey, can you do me a favor? I don't know if anybody else, can you go over on the trust information again? I was not clear on exactly what escrow would need. I thought that you had said that a full copy of the trust is not always needed.
No.
But it was always my understanding that escrow needs a full copy of the trust and a certified copy of the death certificate. So can you clarify that for me?
Of course. So if the trustee, if the trust who is selling the property, if they're living, we do not require. That's requirements of Old Republic Title. I don't know the requirements of other title companies, but if we know that the original trustees are living and they are the ones selling the property, then we don't require that. We would only have them sign a certification of trust, which is notarized. So that is their confirmation to us that they are the trustees of the trust and they have full power to act on that trust.
So
now, sorry, go ahead.
No, I apologize. Go ahead. If what?
So if one or all of the original trustees of the trust have passed or deceased, that's when we would require an original copy of our trust, because then we would be able to determine who the appointed successor trustee or successor trustees are.
Okay. Okay.
And that is when you would need a copy of a death certificate as well.
Okay, so then the trustee then would just show what? Just their license when they notarize the document that says this is me?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we do is we obtain a copy of the trust, the death certificate, and we send that on to our title officers. And they are the ones that will review the trust and let us know who the appointed successor trustees of the trust are. And if that does not correlate with whomever is on your listing agreement, then that's kind of a red flag. Hey, you're not, it doesn't say on this trust that you are the original trustee.
Okay, so you do need a copy. So you do need a copy of the trust and the certified copy of the deed.
Of the death, just a copy.
Excuse me, not the deed. I apologize. Yeah, of the death certificate. So you do need
when the original trustees are deceased.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. And then the only other comment that I had on the deposits was they can't use Zocam, right? To make their deposits.
They can also, yes, which is yes. So if you need a copy of our Zocam instructions, we have that available, but there is an app that they can download to where they would take a picture of their check and the app will send that directly to us and we can accept that as payment, as a deposit. And this all started when COVID first started.
Barbara, I see your face over there, Barbara.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that?
It's called Zocam, Zoccam. Yeah, and I actually direct a lot of our clients to use Zocam because it is super, super easy. And
it's convenient. Yeah.
It's very convenient.
It's like mobile banking. I take pictures of my checks and send them to my account. So this is a great way to for our clients. It just gives an easiness of getting the funds to us.
Yeah, and it literally takes maybe 2 minutes. As fast as they can download it, they put in their information. I mean, they've stood in lobbies and just done it really fast when they're so pressured to get that deposit in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's no
so
pending time at all? There's no pending time?
as far,
No.
no, it's instantaneous.
Yes.
And it goes through right away. I would highly recommend it with your clients, especially if you have some clients that are kind of not really sure. Get it in there and we can do that. We can accept it that way. All of them, obviously, with the exception of when we get closer to close, you have to make sure those funds are certified check or wired in.
Yes, we don't accept any closing funds through the OCAM app.
No.
What is the limit on that? Crystal, is there a limit
Well,
on the check?
we have a limit for our office for a personal check is $25,000. So we can accept it, but we would have to have the approval from our treasury and management before we can accept a check over 25,000. A personal check. Excuse me.
Thank you for answering those questions and clarifying.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions about anything or some maybe red flags that you have come across that we didn't go over in our presentation that maybe others would have would benefit from that information?
Can you go over the probate process again?
So a probate, if you know that your seller is deceased and they did not have a trust and the property was not in a trust, then whomever the executor of the estate will be, they will need to go through the court system to start the probate process, which can take a while. But that is something that you would do outside of escrow.
So who's the executor of the estate? Does the court assign that person or is that a family member?
I believe so. That's not my area of expertise. I can get a little more information or clarification from you, but I would have to reach back out to you if that's okay.
Okay.
I believe that it is it's the person who creates the trust that will identify the executor of their trust.
But there's no trust.
If there's no, only through the probate.
Yeah.
Why?
So
check. I believe the court.
I have a transaction where the husband owned the property. He passed away. His wife was not on title, and she was appointed the executor of the estate. So it might just be whomever is the next living heir. Say, for instance, in this case, the wife. If there was a child that, and their parent had passed, then they might be the executor of the estate. I really don't know who is appointed and how that process works.
Thank you.
Because by the time we get into escrow, usually that it's either in the process or it's been done already.
My understanding is that the family can recommend another family member. However, the court is going to make the final decision and they have to make sure that that person is competent enough to be able to handle, that task. And so it doesn't necessarily mean they get picked, but the court will look at a recommendation from the family.
That makes sense. One other thing, I'm sorry, did you have any other questions in regards to that? Would you like me to get a little more information for you? And I can reach back out to you if you would like that, I can.
Sure.
That's good information for me to know as well. But just something that that's not something that we would deal with necessarily. It's not something that I really know much about.
I have a question, Crystal.
Yes.
Yeah, so talking about the tax withholding taxes for the sellers. So you mentioned that if it's LLC or Corp, they will be exempt from the capital gain taxes, right?
It's possible that they would be, yes. It's best to have them reach out to their accountant to determine that.
All right. And would it be possible, let's say if the seller has a second home that he has his mom, let's say, living in that property, but it's under his name, would it be able like to change type of ownership just to avoid the taxes?
That's not something I know of. Like, I would say always, default back to your accountant on how to handle that. From what I know, California, if you've not lived there, then it wasn't your primary residence, or you hadn't lived there the last 5 years, you will have to pay that tax, that 3 1/3% typically. If you do not pay that up front, there can be consequences on the back end of that.
Yeah.
So if California does determine that you were responsible to pay that withholding and you did not, there could be penalties. I don't know what that would be, but it's best to, if you know you're not exempt, that you should pay that through escrow. So you don't have to, there's nothing you'll have to worry about in the future.
And also to piggyback off that, I would really, really make sure that you explain that to your customers, so then they're not surprised in the 9th hour, because that can be very shocking to a settlement statement to a customer, to a client.
Sure.
How large that number is or can be.
It can be, yes, exactly.
Based on my experience, I think there was like 2 types of taxes. Once it's investment property or it's not primary residence. So once you have during the escrow, you have to pay the 3.3%. And the other taxes, I believe, they have to pay it once they file their taxes by the end of
right.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
for the
correct.
IRS. Right. They're
For
two
the
different.
Yeah. Well.
One other thing that I would like to mention that we didn't go over, that I'm now remembering that I wanted to discuss, is if you know that your seller is will be out of the country during an escrow, that is something that we will need to know as soon as possible. If your seller or a buyer, let's say for instance, if a buyer is married but they're taking title as sole and separate and their spouse is out of the country, we will still need that spouse to sign a quitclaim deed. And going through, we still have to send, they have to go to the embassy to sign the documents typically, to have it notarized. So that can all take quite a bit of time, because I think typically they have to have appointments. So that's something to think about as well. If you know your clients or their spouses will be out of the country, that we get that stuff handled as soon as possible, so we don't delay our closing.
I think that's a good question right there too, is asking your client, is there anything that I should know now about your current financial situation that could prevent us from closing on time or delay our closing?
Right.
And maybe have the client think for a second about, wait, maybe I should tell her now or him now that I'm going through a bankruptcy, not wait, or, whatever the situation might be.
But most first-time home buyers don't know any of that information. I mean, they don't know what's going to stop them from a close of escrow. So.
And maybe at that point in time, you can kind of give them some, suggestions of whatever it might be. And you're right. That is, they don't know what they don't know, for sure.
And just so you know, we do have some informational flyers on the 3 1/3 and several of these subjects that we've talked about.
How can we get some of that information, Sue?
Well, what we want to do is once we get the names of the agents that are on this phone call or on this call, we'd like to reach out and go over our tools and products that we have and answer any more questions that they may have after this presentation.
For sure.
Okay. We'll get you a list.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Okay, so well, thank you so much for coming on, ladies, and for letting us meet you. And we are we need to transition over to our other class now. but we do appreciate your time and thanks for asking to be on here. We appreciate it.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Beth. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Sorry, I couldn't share my video. So I enjoy seeing all your faces, but you're not able to see mine. So maybe in person one of these days, that would be great.
That's great. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you guys.
Thank you. All right.
now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so Beth, I know it's here.
Hi.
And hi, Beth. Beth had a hard night, it sounds like, with her kids. So thank you for being here, Beth. Beth always goes above and beyond, you guys. So I hope you all appreciate that. So I appreciate you being here, Beth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but please stay on. Remember, there's script practice this evening. Unless, Beth, do you feel if you're too tired, please let me know and we will do something.
It should be fine. It always has a problem with me signing in, though. Can you just make sure that it says I'm either host or co-host before you sign off?
Oh, come on. Okay, it says Beth is the host now.
Great, thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Appreciate it.
Bye, you too. Thanks, Barb.
Okay, guys, so I'm hosting from my backyard, so I can get my Wi-Fi to work. And hopefully my dogs won't start barking or any of that. I'll probably mute myself here in a second. But does everybody have the script?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I will go ahead and do breakout rooms. And then I'll do my normal thing, popping in and out after I deal with my dogs here because they're already crying. And so when you get your invites, just go ahead and jump over. And as usual, if it looks like somebody's alone in a room, I'll move you. Hey, Deborah Rose, Raina, did you get an invite? Melissa? Got Deborah Rose, Hayden. Okay, who do we saw? Melissa, Laura. I think everybody has someone. Hey guys, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I finally got my kids down at 7 in the morning and then all the group texts started about the installment dinner and all that great stuff today.
What happened, Beth? Everything okay? Anything we can help with?
Yeah, my daughter was sick and then my son got sick. And so it's fine. They're all right. They're sleeping away and I'm up.
Well, are you sure that you're good for script practice tonight?
Yeah, because I tried to go to sleep and my family and my phone's not letting that happen. So yeah, the dogs will cry or my husband comes in or my phone starts dinging. It's not going to happen. I just got to commit to being awake now. So.
Well, if you find that you're slumping at 5 o'clock, let me know. But my plan for this evening was to ditch all the classes because I'm going to Monterey Bay this weekend.
Yay! Ditch the classes.
Good for you. Ditch the
I
classes.
already planned to take a mental health weekend, and I'm just like, I might start that tonight.
I think you should.
I don't blame you.
I honestly, I think you should.
Yep. I'm in dire need of one of those myself. So yeah.
It was coming up, and I'm like, I cannot wait until Friday. I cannot wait till Friday.
I think everybody's been going really hard. Like I saw Bailey yesterday in the office and she took one day off and was feeling guilty for having a day off. And I was like, you work really hard, but if you don't take time for yourself and your family, you're just going to burn out and you're not going to do a good job anyways. You have to.
Exactly. In order for me to stay chipper, I need some beach time.
Yeah. I love Monterey. We usually go when we stay in PG.
We're staying in Capitola.
Oh, nice. Well, oh yeah. Okay. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you're not going to Monterey. You're going down to Capitola, down Santa Cruz
Well,
way?
we're going to be back and forth because we're going to be going to the aquarium and we're staying in Capitola and we're just going to go hiking in that area. So I mean, we're going to kind of be all over that area.
Nice. So
do you stay at like the dog friendly places or do you leave your babies at home?
Babies are staying at home. It's an adult vacation.
There you go. That's what needs be. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen the tattoo that's on my shoulder? The Great White? Yeah. So, fun fact is that my father had a hazardous waste corporation for so many years, right?
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it very well,
Yeah, I
but
can see it.
yeah. And we had a hazardous waste corporation, and for many years, for 15 years, on the